Hello everybody, those are for life here, bringing guys a brand new blast from the past. This time we are talking about Chronomalies. Chronomalies are one of 3 decks to belong to the same family from Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, this Heraldic Beasts, and Gimmick Puppets. All are they have some similarities in how they play because, well, they're played by different members of the same family. With that being said though, Chronomalies are perhaps the weirdest. Well, Heraldic Beasts are very much rank 4 spam, and Gimmick Puppets are very much rank 8 spam. Chronomalies can hit anything from 3 to 5 and occasionally 6, which just is very, very weird. There's not many XC spam decks out there that are able to churn out 3 different ranks on average. I mean, well, really 4, I guess. 2, I mean, really, yeah, more so, because 3, 4, and 5 and 6, so yeah, 3, 4-ish, kind of like in there. Like, that's quite a bit for one deck to do, but it does work. Also, they only have one level 6, which is why I say that it can only really go into rank 6s on the occasion. Like, it just doesn't happen as much as I would like to see, considering the rank 6 is really, really good. So, let's go ahead and talk about this archetype. Personally, I really like it, but it's a very outdated deck already at this point in just how it plays. It's very slow in making its plays, and is heavily reliant on a normal summon. So, first and foremost is Chronomaly Soul Monolith. He's a level 6 Rock Earth, 600 attack, 600 defense. You can tell they're really trying to go with that 6 thing. So, once per turn, you can target 1 Chronomaly monster you control. Its level becomes 6. You cannot spell summon any monsters during the turn you activate this card except Chronomaly monsters. It's okay. If it had a way to self-summon itself, it'd be a whole lot better, but it doesn't, which really, really hinders the card and really prevents it from being as good as it could be. That being said, though, the deck does have easy ways of making tribute fodder and everything, but still not the best, but also, like, not really the worst. Like, if it was just able to summon itself, like if it control Chronomaly, special summon it, as a lot of these monsters do have, it'd be a whole lot better. Next up is Chronomaly Moai. This is actually one of the first Chronomalies. He's a level 5, 1800 attack, 1600 defense, Rock Earth. If you control a face-up Chronomaly monster, you can spell summon this card from your hand in face-up defense position. I've always hated it how he summons himself in defense position, especially considering one of the other spell cards that they have. So he is a really good card, but however, you can't obviously go offensive with him. Also, because he's a rock, he's kind of weird and stuff. He can't really go into a lot of the good rank 5s. He's a rock Earth, so he can't make like Pleiades or Nova or anything like that. So he does really restrict you to some of the other rank 5s that are much more generic, or to the actual rank 5 of the deck, which is a really, really good card. Next up is Chronomaly Tula Guardian. This guy is a level 5, 1800 attack, 900 defense, Rock Earth. If there is a face-up field spell on the field, you can spell summon this card from your hand. You can only control 1 Tula Guardian. I've always hated it how you can only control 1 of this thing. That is just so stupid. And I get it that they were trying to limit the deck and make sure that it didn't go too hammy. But still, you got decks out there that can churn out like 3 of the same monster in 1 turn, and you tell me that I can't summon more than 1 Chronomaly Tula Guardian? I gotta get rid of the first one? That is really, really stupid. I like this card for what he does. He's basically a Moai, but easier to summon technically. And you can summon out this guy with the field spell out, and then you summon Moai, and then you go for a rank 5. But it's still very silly in that they are self-restricting the deck. Next up is Chronomaly Wing Sphinx. I can't say that for some reason. He's a Rock Earth, 1600 attack, 1900 defense, level 5. When this card is normal summon, you can target 1 level 5 Chronomaly monster in your graveyard, spell summon at target. You cannot spell summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Chronomaly monsters. So this guy, you gotta tribute summon him, and then you can summon out a level 5 from your graveyard. Very okay effect. The reason why I say okay is because, again, while the deck does have somewhat easy ways of getting out tribute fodder, it's not the best in terms of getting out that tribute fodder. So tributing in a deck is not exactly the best thing to do. It's an okay card, and it's technically it's a 1 card XCs, but even so, you still got to tribute off a monster, so I guess that'd make it more of a 2 card XCs. Okay monster at best. It would be a lot better if like Monarch Stormforth didn't restrict you from going into your extra deck. Next up is Chronomaly Moai Carrier. So considering how it says Moai Carrier, I guess that's supposed to be... Oh wow, that is a Moai there. I've never noticed that before. Holy crap. So, Moai Carrier. He's a level 5 rocker. I believe they're all rocker. Okay, no, some of them are machines. 900 attack, 1800 defense. If your opponent controls a card and you control no cards, you can spell summon this card from your hand. So yeah, obviously he's supposed to work in tandem with Moai. You spell summon him. You still haven't normal summoned yet, so you can normal summon one of the other guys, and then just go for rank 5. Really, really good card. He's basically a Cyber Dragon. You could just play Cyber Dragon if you wanted to, but there's a lot of benefits to having Chronomaly in the name of the card, especially in this deck, since a lot of their cards restrict you into nothing but Chronomalies. Next up is easily the best card in the main deck, Chronomaly Nebra Disc. A card that we also had to wait like a year or two before we got over here, which is stupid. And by the time we did get them, Chronomalies were pretty much dead as a deck. And even now, they still aren't really all that great, sadly. So, Nebra Disc. He's Machine Light, 1800 attack, 1500 defense. When this card is normal summon, you can add one Chronomaly card from your deck to your hand, except himself. So, right off the bat, he's a Stratos for the entire deck, for even the spells and trap cards. So, you don't even just get to add the monsters, you can add anything. That is stupid. Granted though, it's only when he's normal summoned, so you do gotta keep that in mind. If this card is in your graveyard, and all face-up monsters you control are Chronomaly monsters, minimum of 1, you can spell summon this card from your graveyard and face-up defense position. You cannot activate cards or effects to turn you activate this effect, except Chronomaly cards. You can only use one Nebra Disc effect per turn, and only once that turn. So, he's basically tribute fodder as well in the graveyard, as well as also Xyz fodder, as well as also just other fodder for everything else. Very, very good card. He is easily the best card in the main deck. I say main deck because I really honestly think that a lot of the Xyz, or at least a few of the Xyz, are really, really good. And I don't really think that you can really compare a main deck card to an extra card. That being said though, this thing is basically Stratos, but I would argue that it's better for the deck that it's made for, because you can just also special summon it from your graveyard, which I'm happy that they actually put that you only get search on normal summon, because could you imagine if you could use both effects? Granted, they also put Edda in there as well for, I guess, added clarity. I don't really get why they did that, but oh well. Next up is Chronomaly Mud Golem. He's a 1700 attack point rocker monster with 1000 defense. If a Chronomaly monster you control attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. I really like this card because he just allows you to go for a lot more OTKs if your opponent is walling up. Very, very good card. Granted though, really in all honesty, he has no ways of summoning himself. There's nothing you can really do with him. He's really only good as like a 1 or 2 of in the deck for going for OTKs. Really, that's about it. Next up is actually the guy that's supposed to pair with Mud Golem over here, Chronomaly Aztec Mask Golem. He's a rocker, 1500 attack, 1000 defense monster. Level 4, during your turn, if you have activated a Chronomaly spell card previously this turn, you can spell summon this card from your hand. You can only control one Chronomaly Aztec Mask Golem. Okay, so I really do like this card. He just allows for a lot of rank 4 XYZs. But again, you can only control one of them. That is just stupid. I don't know why they would put that onto monsters that are made for going for rank 4s. I mean, okay, no, I do know why. Because they wanted to restrict the deck, prevent it from going, from being too powerful. Granted though, this is not a deck you need to worry about being too powerful unless some of the anime stuff gets printed, because, oh boy, some of the anime stuff. That being said though, Aztec Mask Golem's really good in the deck. He's a mandatory 3 of, kind of like Tula Guardian in my opinion, because they just allow for so much spamming. Not to mention, his summoning condition is so stupid easy to get through, especially since you're probably going to be playing like 3 of this, and 1 or, well, actually I say 1 to 3 of this. It's up to your opinion. But really, really good card overall. I like him a lot. I just don't like the fact that you can only control one of him. It just gets in the way of things and requires you to do some things to get around that. Next up is Chronomaly Golden Jet. Once per turn, you can increase the levels of all Chronomaly monsters you currently control by 1. Really good card. I just wish he was more like the wind-up shark or Constellar. I forget his name, but the one who can like adjust levels and everything. He's an overall really good card. It's just you got to really be careful about how you play the levels and everything. Granted, though, he does somewhat make it easier to go into rank 6 because you can normal summon him, special summon 2 Moai, use his effect, turn the 2 Moai into level 6s, and then go into the rank 6 or pretty much any rank 6 you want to. So he's a pretty good card for the deck, and in my personal opinion, is a definite 3 of in the archetype. He just is a little bit gimmicky because you can only he's normal summon only. Granted, though, there are other ways to get him out. With that also being said, though, this guy also allows the deck to make Stellar Pleiades and also Cyber Dragon Nova because he is a light machine. So if you have 2 out, you use one of those effects to boost them into level 5s, then you overlay for Nova or you overlay for Pleiades, whichever one you need. So really, really good card. He just is a little bit not all that great because of the fact that you gotta special summon out 2 through another means. Granted, though, really good card overall, like in a vacuum. Next up is Chronomaly Colossal Head. This guy's one of the worst ones in my opinion. So he's a level 4, 800 attack, 1600 defense, Rock Earth. You can banish this card from your graveyard to target 1 level 3 or higher attack position monster in the field. Change it to face down or face up defense position. This effect of Colossal Head can only be used once per turn. So it's a Book of Moon from graveyard for level 3 or higher attack position monsters. Okay. Why would you really ever want to Book of Moon something in this deck? For those who don't know how Chronomalies typically work, is that they typically try to fluctuate attack power and then go for a crap ton of damage through Maku Mech. That being said, though, you don't ever really want to put stuff into defense position unless like you have Mud Golem out or something. He doesn't do anything for the deck, which is really just really sucks. It's just not a good card in the deck. And anything else, maybe he'd be a lot better, like in any other archetype, like, oh, I don't know, Ghost Tricks, or like if Subterrors had something like this, that wouldn't be too terrible, but Chronomalies, no, not good. Next up, Chronomaly Cabrera Trebuchet. I almost said Catapult. Basically the same thing. I can't, yeah, if I remember right, what a Trebuchet is. So, he's a Rock Earth monster, 0 attack, 1800 defense, level 4. Once per turn, you contribute 1 other Chronomaly monster, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0 until the end phase. So, basically what this card does is the same thing that Mini Guts does. Okay, I guess it... There we go. It has a dash in there for some reason. So, Mini Guts has the same exact effect, but basically it has the added effect that this turn, when it is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack in the graveyard. So, really, if it wasn't for Mini Guts, this card would be really needed in the deck. But because Mini Guts is a card, you don't really need Trebuchet. Not to mention, especially since Trebuchet requires itself an Xyz and something else on the field. The reason why I specify an Xyz is because the only time you're ever going to use this effect is if you have Maku Mech out on field. So, really, pretty much, you're just better off just playing Mini Guts. It's a spell card, you don't have to use a normal summon for it or anything. Trebuchet would have been a lot better. Like, if it wasn't for Mini Guts, he'd be actually played in the deck. Next up is Chronomaly Mayan Machine. This is also one of the worst ones. Level 3, 1500 attack, 700 defense. This card can be used as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a machine type monster. And you may be thinking, oh, that's not too terrible. Why is he the worst? Or one of the worst? Because he does literally nothing for the deck. None of the Chronomaly monsters are above level 6. You do not need to tribute more than 1 monster for the tribute summon of any Chronomaly monster. Maybe they were originally planning to have like this deck have some rank 7 plays or something, but then they changed their mind. I don't know. But literally this card does nothing for the archetype. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's literally no reason to play this card in the deck. So, I mean, at least Colossal Head, you could make an argument for that, oh, he can be used for some, I don't know, gimmicky play or something. But Mayan Machine, He's terrible in the deck. I can't even think of any 2 tribute machine type monsters that would be even worth going into nowadays, except maybe Barrel Dragon. Even then, Barrel Dragon I don't see anybody playing ever unless he gets an archetype like Buster Blader. So really, my machine is the worst card in the deck. It's just not playable. Next up, we get 2 cards that actually pair quite well to each other. So Chronomaly Crystal Bones, level 3, 1300 attack, 400 defense, Rock Light. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. When you do, you can special summon 1 Chronomaly monster from your hand, or graveyard, except itself. So, pretty good. It's a Cyber Dragon, and when you summon it for its effect, you can special summon a Chronomaly monster from your hand or graveyard, except itself. Well, another copy of it. And that is really, 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 really good. It's just any Chronomaly monster. It can even be an Xyz if you wanted to. So you can just special summon him, bring out one of the big guys down here, or any of your other monsters and just go for other plays. Or you can bring back a level 3 and an overlay. Very, very, very good card. I like him a lot. Next up is Chronomaly Crystal Skull. Level 3, 900 attack, 600 defense, Rock Light. Obviously, he's supposed to pair with Crystal Bones. If you control a face-up Chronomaly monster, you can discard this card to the graveyard. Add 1 Chronomaly monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except Chronomaly Crystal Skull. The effect of Crystal Skull can only be used once per turn. So if you control Chronomaly, you can just discard them, add a Chronomaly monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. That is really, really, really good. The deck is 2, and as you'll later see on, like 3 different ways to search out monsters or anything really, with Devpro Disc being able to grab anything. So the deck has 2 searchers, technically 3 kind of. So really, really, really good card. Just for discarding it too. It's basically a 1-for-1. So I really can't like just say how much I like this card. Next up is another card I quite like. It is Chronomaly Gordian Knot. When this card, Rock Earth, level 3, 300 attack, 900 defense. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon 1 Chronomaly monster from your hand. If you do, this card's level becomes the current level of that special summon monster. This is the easiest way to make the rank 6, because you normal summon him, you special summon him, go into rank 6. Also, he, unlike Soul Monolith, does not restrict you into just Chronomaly monsters. So, really, really good card overall, just for that alone, and also for being able to make any rank 5, 4, or 3 easy. Like, this guy, in my personal opinion, is a mandatory 3-up along with Never Disc. Like, he is that good because he is an auto Xyz. Granted, though, he's also very oftenly effect failored, which kind of really sucks. Now we get to the spell cards. They have 3 printed spell cards and 1 printed trap. Chronomaly Technology is their first spell card. This card and Chronomaly Pyramid Eye Tablet were the first 2 cards first 2 spell cards for the deck. So, Chronomaly Technology, target 1 Chronomaly monster in your graveyard, banish it, and look at the top 2 cards of your deck. Add 1 of them to your hand and send the other to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Chronomaly Technology per turn. You cannot special summon any monsters the turn you activate this card except Chronomaly monsters. So it's basically a pot of duality, but however the other card goes to your graveyard, which can actually help out because, like, let's say you, banish, a dead Moai carrier. You reveal the top, you look at the top 2 cards, and let's say one is a Never Disc and the other, for instance, is Colossal Head if you're actually playing it. Obviously, that'd be like the best case scenario because you had Never Disc, you send Colossal Head to graveyard. But however, considering how Chronomaly really like having stuff in the graveyard, especially thanks to their field spell, you don't really care about your Chronomaly's Head in the graveyard. It's just that good of a card. Not to mention the restriction to you can only special summon Chronomaly's that turn. Doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, Soul Monolith has it as well. But it's really not that big of an issue because a lot of times that's what you're going to go into anyways. So, really, really good card overall. I like it a lot. It's just such a good card for the deck. Next up is a card that I personally like, but a lot of people don't. It's super simple, too. Chronomaly Pyramid Eye Tablet. All Chronomaly monsters you control gain 800 attack. That's what it does. But it's actually a substantial attack boost, and if you have multiple out, that's 2,400 more attack at max, 1,600 if you have 2. That's a lot of attack power, and so all of a sudden my little mud golem can attack over Blue Eyes if I have two. It's so stupid. I like it quite a lot, and it just allows for more OTKs if anything else. Because the deck really does try to OTK. This is an OTK archetype, and so this just helps get to the OTK a bit more. Granted though, it does literally nothing for the deck except give everything more attack power. I love it. Next up is Chronomaly City Babylon. It's a field spell card and a card that I've been referencing quite a bit, and is also one of the reasons why the deck is able to make so many good plays. Once per turn, you can banish one Chronomaly monster from your graveyard and target one Chronomaly monster in your graveyard of the same level as the banished monster, special summon it. A really, really good card. It's a once per turn monster reborn. Granted though, you gotta banish the Chronomaly for its effect, but that doesn't really matter when you're making plays and you're OTKing your opponent. I absolutely love this card. This card, it took us way too long to get a hold of in TCG, and because of that, I mean, I think we didn't get it until like the same, no wait, we didn't even get it in the same set as Neberdisc. We got it either the set before or after in the Premium Gold series, if I remember right. So it took like forever for us to get Babylon, and it's such a good card for the deck, and the deck really does kind of fall apart without it. I mean, it kind of doesn't really need it till like turn 2-ish. This is a slower OTK deck, by the way. For the most part, some variants of the deck can easily churn out stuff. But granted though, Babylon is really, really good for the grind game, and just really allows the deck to do a lot of things that it just wouldn't be able to do without Babylon. Next up is their one and only trap card, Stonehenge Methods. I actually really like this card a lot, but a lot of people don't like it because it's more of a defensive card, and of course the deck is very much an offensive deck. When a face-up Chronomaly monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 4 or lower Chronomaly monster from your deck in face-up defense position. It cannot change its battle position. So, let's say your opponent Red Geki's your board, you activate this, you special summon, I don't know, Mud Golem in defense, and then, oh hey, you don't get OTK'd. That's the reason why I like the card. It's really good for if your OTK falls through and you need some protection. Granted though, it doesn't offer much protection, and it does allow you to try and maintain a bit of a field presence, but however, it is really slow for an OTK deck. It just is. That's the big issue with it. So overall, the monster, spell, and trap lineup is pretty good, I would say. Obviously, with a few exceptions of Trebuchet, Mind Machine, and Colossal Head. I think those are the worst cards, really. And then, oh yeah, of course, Sphinx. But even Sphinx has its plays and stuff. It's just really, honestly, pretty good overall. And some people would say that this is a terrible card. I like it for its OTK abilities. And also, I like Stonehenge Methods, but a lot of people don't. So, now then, for the ACs, we start off with Chronomaly Crystal Chrononaut. Don't ask me what a Chrononaut is, I have no idea. It's a rank 3 psychic for some reason. Light, 2100 attack, 1000 defense, 2 level 3 monsters, so it is generic. Once per turn, when this card is targeted for an attack, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. This turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Also, your opponent takes any battle damage you would take from battles involving this card. Okay, back when this card came out, there wasn't a lot of removal. We didn't have 101, we didn't have Castell, we didn't have any of that. So, and like, nobody was playing Compulse yet, okay? So, it was before even that. When this card first came out, it was a fierce to be reckoned with. Not only did it have the highest attack of any generic rank 3, but also if your opponent tried to attack it and kill it by battle, that wouldn't happen. They'd be taking the damage. It wouldn't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and it's just really, really good card. Nowadays, though, it's been power creeped significantly. There's 101 Gastel, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. There are just so many ways to spot removal this card without attacking into it, that it's just not very good anymore. It used to be a fierce to be reckoned with. Nowadays, no, it's laughable at best play. That being said, though, I do like how it has a crap ton of attack power, and I do really like its effect. It does force your opponent to have to work around it if they don't have a way to remove it through a card effect, which doesn't happen like ever nowadays. That being said, though, it just has really been power creeped. It's a good card from like a few formats ago. From, oh god, I think it came out in Return of the Duelist. It just is just been power creeped. That's the really big issue. It was a really good card when it first came out. Nowadays, though, it's laughable at best. sadly. Next up is number 36, Chronomaly Chateau Hyuk. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. He's 2,000 attack points, 2,500 defense, rank 4. 2 level 4 Chronomaly monsters go into, so he is not generic. Once per turn during your first turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster's attack becomes 0 until the end of the turn. You contribute 1 Chronomaly monster, then target 1 monster your opponent controls whose current attack is different from its original attack. Destroy that target. Pretty good card overall. It's basically another mini guts. It allows for another way to do what basically Trebuchet tried to do, but isn't all that great at doing. So really, honestly, this thing is really good for the OTK and everything. I really like it. Really good card, and it combos really well with the next card, number 33, Chronomaly Maku Mech. In fact, they're actually they're 3 numbers apart in the number thing. Maku Mech is a machine light, rank 5, 2,400 attack, 1,500 defense. He's generic, so he's just 2 level 5s to go into. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between its original attack and current attack. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to the damage inflicted. So, basically, the OTK that I've been talking about that this deck tries to do is your opponent has to have at least 1 monster out on the field with a decent amount of attack power. You make these 2, okay, which you can do very easily. Basically, you just normal summon him, special summon him, special summon him, special summon him. So you need basically 4 monsters. Basically. And Babylon helps out doing this. So then you get out all those. Use this thing's effect to target 1 monster your opponent controls, drop it down to 0, and then use Maku Mech's effect to target that same monster, and then it gains attack power equal to that, and your opponent takes burn damage. So you're able to go for a crap ton of damage. Obviously, also Mini Guts is another way of doing this without... Mini Guts is actually the best way to do it because your opponent also takes damage equal to that monster's attack power after you kill it. So you really want to draw into Mini Guts, but preferably... however, Yuk also helps out doing this as well. So that's the general OTK that the deck does. Also, since this thing is a machine, you could limit a removal as well. So... Now, doing that OTK is actually not all that difficult. It's just a matter of getting either Mini Guts or Hyuk and just kind of trying to not die before you get the OTK off. That's the big issue. That being said, though, I really like Maku Mech. He's a very powerful rank 5, and he's not too bad as just a generic rank 5 if you don't know what to put in there, or if you can't make a Cyber Dragon and Nova to go into Infinity or anything. Very good card overall, and it just combos so well with everything in the deck. Next up is the number 6 Chronomaly Atlantis. Yes, it's a rank 6 and its number is 6. It's just kind of funny. He's 2,600 attack, 3,000 defense. I really wish those stats were swapped, but I guess a generic level 6, rank 6 with 3k attack would be a bit too good. Machine Light. When this card is XC summon, you can target 1 number monster in your graveyard. Equip that target to this card. This card gains attack equal to half the attack of that monster. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card to send the monster equipped by this effect to the graveyard, half your opponent's life points. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. Very good rank 6. So you Xyz summon him, you target your dead Maku Mech or your dead Chateau Hyuk or any other Xyz number monster in your graveyard. Equip it onto him. He gains that monster's attack power, well, half of it, and is able to just, beat over your opponent. He's a big beat stick, basically. But the main thing is you can detach Xyz material, send that card from him to the graveyard, and then half your opponent's life points. He is a very powerful and deadly card to your opponent, and is just able to allow for the OTK even easier. Granted, though, you cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this, so the turn you use that effect is best to use if you have something to defend yourself in case your opponent is able to try and OTK you. Granted, though, he is able to push out for a crap ton of damage alongside Maku Mech, so he is able to just really help out the OTK. Granted, though, the way that the deck works, and unless you're playing double summon or something, it's not easy to get him and Maku Mech out on the field at the same time. The easiest way I can think of is normal summoning him, special summoning him, and then special summoning these 2. But that's obviously not the best way to go about things. So He's a very, very powerful card, and I like him a lot, but he's been upscaled because he has a Chaos version. Number C6 Chronomaly Chaos Atlantis. Yeah, not a very creative name there. He needs 3 level 7s to go into. That's never going to happen. You're supposed to rank it up. If you activate any of this card's effects, your opponent takes no further damage this turn. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, equip that target to this card as an equipped spell card, whose effect makes this card gain 1000 attack power. If this card is number 6 Chronomaly Atlantis as attached to it as an Xyz material, it gains this effect. You can detach 3 Xyz material from this card and send all number monsters equipped by this card's effect to the graveyard. Minimum of 1. Make your opponent's life points 100. Yeah, you read that right. Or rather heard that right. I read it. So, if he has number 6 attached to him, and you have equipped a number monster to him by a card effect, well, by his card effect, you can detach all 3 Xyz materials from him. Send at least one, well, all number monsters attached to him by his effect to the graveyard, and you make your opponent's life points 100. You just make your opponent's life points 100. Now, obviously, there are some issues. You gotta equip a number monster to him through, well, you know, just standard means through his effect. But, however, almost every deck plays at least one number monster, okay? Number monsters are just generally really, really good. They're generally generic, so most, like, just take a look at your extract. Most of your Xyz are going to be number monsters, I guarantee it, unless you're playing a synchro deck or something. Okay, so, generally speaking, his effect is not that hard to pull off, but it is heavily reliant on what your opponent has. So, really, in all honesty, it's a very good card, but only in really certain situations. Not to mention, you gotta basically go into this guy at the same time you go into Atlantis, because, like, let's say you bring back Atlantis for some other means, he's only gonna have, like, 1 Xyz material. You need to detach 3 from this guy in order to use this effect. So, overall, he's a really, really good and powerful card, but, however, he's really reliant on what your opponent has to be able to do anything, which is a bit annoying. Next up, now we got the anime cards that, well, we never got released. And a lot of these, well, just a few of these, I really feel like would help out the deck quite a bit. First up is Chronomaly Resonance, or Oop Arts Resonance, as I think Oop Arts is what they were called in Japan. So, target one face of Chronomaly monster you control, special one Chronomaly monster from your hand whose level is equal to the target's level +1. This card would really help out, considering how many level 3s, level 4s, and level 5s the deck has. It would just help out for more ranked plays and everything, and I think it would be a pretty decent card to play. One thing that I would like to change is, like, maybe give the option of summoning a level, like, 3, a level higher one, like maybe equal to the level of that monster or +1. So, it'd give you more options, but I doubt they'd do that. That, or maybe make it to where you can summon from deck instead of hand. That'd be a lot better, especially. Kind of wondering why there's... Oh, that's a Colossal Head. I thought that was Crystal Skull for the longest time. Next up is Paylink Sarcophagus. If you control a Chronomaly monster, draw 2 cards. Yes, please. Pretty please. This card would help out immensely. It would allow you to get to your OTK pieces a lot faster. It would just allow you to OTK faster. Not to mention, it doesn't have a once per turn thing on it anywhere, so you could potentially draw 6 cards. I really, 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 really like this card. I hope it gets printed one day, but knowing Konami, they'll probably put a once per turn clause on it somewhere. It'd be a really, really good card, and it'd help out the deck a lot. It'd give the deck a lot of draw power. This deck doesn't have a lot of draw power, as you've seen. It has quite a bit of search power, but it doesn't have a lot of draw power, and so it tends to burn through its hand relatively quickly. So this card would really, really help out. Next up is a quick play, Heart of Stone. At the end of the damage step, if a Chronomaly monster you control attacked an opponent's monster, and that monster is not destroyed by battle, you target your monster attacked, it can attack once again in a row this turn. It's okay. I can only really see it being useful if your opponent has like 101 or something out on field. It's really just okay at best. I don't see this card like being all that great. Next card is a bit confusing. Sunken Kingdom. All water monsters gain 300 attack. Okay. Level 4 or lower monsters cannot target Chronomaly monsters for attacks. By the way, this is a field spell. What does this do for Chronomalies other than protecting them uh, from level 4 or lower monsters? God. It does not do much of anything for the deck aside from protecting your monsters from level 4 or lower monsters, which is irrelevant. If I remember correctly, this was played in the Chronomaly dudes duel against Shark in the anime, and basically the whole idea of this card was just simply to get Shark to summon Shark Drake and just kind of fall prey to the numbers influence. So, with that being said, it is quite literally made for the story of the anime and does nothing for the actual deck. That being said, it is another field spell, so Tutor Guardian likes it, but that's about it. I mean, why play that when you have Babylon, which is just infinitely better? Next up is Chronomaly Leyline Power. When a monster is special summoned during this battle phase, battles another monster. Switch to battling monster's attack during the damage step only. Which is a confusing effect, but it's very funny. So basically, if a monster that was special summoned during this battle phase battles another monster, you can switch the attack during the damage step only. So, let's say, I don't know, I somehow special summon Nebrodisk during the battle phase. My opponent has a Blue Eyes. I can activate this. Nebrodisk becomes 3k and Blue Eyes becomes 1800. It's an okay card. I don't really see this card being all that great because you'd have to rely on like Giant Rat or something, and Giant Rat just I don't see being very good in this deck at all. So really, in all honesty, this card's kind of meh. Next up is Thunderpot. When a Chronomaly monster you control is a target for an attack, negate the attack, and in the battle phase, the activation of this card cannot be negated. This card provides the deck a lot of defense that I think that it's really needed, that it really does need. It doesn't have this deck is very much like Gem Knights and that it's a glass cannon. All about that OTK, but if the OTK falls apart, it falls apart itself. So this card provides the deck a much needed boost to its defenses. I really, really do like the card. I like it how it can't be negated, so your opponent can't like infinity it or something, which is a very, very good card, effect. So I like it quite a bit. Next up is Orichalcum Mirage. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, change the attack target to another Chronomaly monster you control. This is okay. It just simply redirects the attack to another card. I can see it being useful in certain situations, like let's say you have, I don't know, a Nebrodisk and a Chrononaut out. Your opponent attacks Nebrodisk, you redirect the attack to Chrononaut, use Chrononaut's effect, and then just kind of laugh as your opponent doesn't know what to do. So it's an okay card, but however, it's not as good as Thunderpot. Like, really, honestly, Thunderpot is just a lot better. So, in all honesty, overall, this deck is very, very interesting. It's a very weird and good OTK deck. It's for people who want to do OTKs, but wants to do them very fun and through roundabout ways. While also just kind of laughing at your opponent's weak monsters because they become 0 attack power and you just do a crap ton of burn damage to them in addition to the battle damage. Overall, this deck does need some work, though. I think, personally, it needs more spell and trap support. That's the biggest thing. Like, preferably some draw cards, like, for instance, the Sarcophagus card over here. If that were printed, like, just that alone would help out the deck quite a bit. I feel like Thunderpot would also really help out the deck because it does fall short of defensive powers. So, really, in all honesty, I feel like more spell and trap card support would really help out. And maybe its own rank up. Like, just kind of my own like idea. Like, maybe its own rank up and stuff. That way so that you have something to search out for. That way so that you have a rank up you can search out through Nebrodisk. Like, I don't know, rank up Chronomaly Force or something like that. So then, oh, hey, you have an easy way of making this guy. But speaking of, we don't have any way to search out rank ups reliably, which really, really, really sucks. With that being said, though, I would also like to see maybe another Xyz or two, something that just simply helps out Makumek, or maybe helps facilitate the deck or something. Like, maybe something that says, once per turn, detach these materials, specimen a Chronomaly monster from your deck. Something like that. That'd be nice. I don't know. So, guys, what do you think of Chronomalies? What do you think they need? Personally, I think they need more spell and trap support, especially draw power. Maybe a bit more search power, but I would personally prefer draw power. So, guys, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry if I sound like stuffed up. I have a really stuffed up nose and it's just driving me nuts lately. So guys, again, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day. If it's birthday, happy birthday. And see you all later. Peace out.